Hi, Laura Adler, Holistic Health Coach, here for a little bit of a story time. I want to share with you a story of what happened to me last night as a way to illustrate the myth that it takes too long to cook healthy meals. So last night I was out in Midtown Manhattan running a bunch of errands, and if you've ever been to Midtown Manhattan, you know that it's a veritable food desert, that there's just almost no place to get anything to eat, especially anything healthy to eat. It's all big box department stores and things like that, and there's really not a lot to choose from unless you're looking at really, really expensive, fancy French restaurants like Le Cirque, or on the other side you've got your food carts selling dirty water dogs and pretzels. Gross. So those were pretty much my two options, and I, was totally hit at 7 o'clock by supreme hunger. I was really, really hungry, worn out from my day, and it had been hours since I'd eaten. And I was so hungry, in fact, that while I was waiting in line to pay for the things that I was buying, I had pulled out the Yelp app on my iPhone so that I could see if there was any place in the immediate area where I could get something to eat. Even though I knew that I had a whole refrigerator full of really great food at home from my local CSA. And I was kicking myself for thinking like, oh, I'll just go out and get a quick bite to eat because I knew I had all that good stuff at home. But I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna head in the direction of home because there's nothing to eat here, and any choice that I make here would be an unhealthy choice. And at least if I'm closer to home, I have more options. So I got on the bus, and while I was on the bus, I pulled out another app on my phone, which is the Whole Foods cooking app. And I'm running through debating whether or not I can cook something at home and if I have enough ingredients on hand. So I was looking through the recipes and I'm thinking, okay, I've got polenta at home, I've got kale, I've got a whole bunch of random things. How can I piece this together? And I got a little bit of inspiration to make something, but I was still so hungry that the idea of cooking was really turning me off. And as I was getting closer to home, I kept thinking, what restaurants in the immediate neighborhood could I stop at to get something really quick, even takeout, even eat in, it doesn't matter. I'm just so hungry, I can't barely think straight. And everything that I kept running across was unhealthy because really, are you going to be able to find a healthy meal at a place that's going to be able to serve you in 5 or 10 minutes? Probably not. It's going to be fast food. And I don't really like to eat that way, and I don't encourage other people to eat that way. So I decided to suck it up, and I went home, and I had a plan before I even walked in the door. And this was a plan that was developed in the 6-minute walk from the end of my street to my front door. And I was going to make a polenta with sauteed kale and white beans. I had some Eden Organic canned white beans, or so I thought. So I got home, no white beans. Okay, ditch that. So I'm going to ditch the polenta too because that means I would just be having corn and kale, and there's no protein in there. So I switched to quinoa, which cooks in 15 minutes. So I quickly put that on the stove, got that cooking, and while that was cooking, washed my kale. I didn't even chop any garlic. I just threw it in a hot pan with a little bit of olive oil and then some water to steam it and some salt and lemon juice, and it was delicious. What I also happened to have in the fridge, which was a great flavor booster, was a jar of freshly made garlic scape pesto. It's garlic scape season. If you've never seen them, they're these amazing curlicues that you can get at the farmer's market. And you can actually find a recipe for garlic scape pesto on the recipe section of my website. So I encourage you to go there if you haven't already. Anyway, quinoa was cooked in 13-14 minutes. Put a big dollop of pesto right into the quinoa, mix it up, put the kale on top, and in 15 minutes I was sitting down to eat dinner, which is probably faster than I would have been able to eat had I stopped and gotten something unhealthy on the way out. So I'm telling you this story to remind you that it does not have to take a long time to make healthy meals at home. That meal was made in 15 minutes. Could it have been better and fancier? Yeah, absolutely. But it really hit the spot. It was really easy. It was tasty. which is really important because if it doesn't taste good, it doesn't really matter how healthy it is, you're just not going to eat it. And yeah, so was it the best meal of my life? Absolutely not, but it was free or inexpensive. And it was made by me and it was quick and easy. So I really encourage you to start thinking outside the box when it comes to those moments where you're really challenged with being hungry and you're maybe not at home or you're on your way home. And rely on what you have in your pantry to steer you in the right direction. If you don't have a healthy pantry, it's time to get one, right? Time to stock it full of really great grains and lentils and beans so that you can have really quick dinners on the table without having to run to the store. The only fresh ingredient that I used for my dinner was kale, which I happened to get from my CSA, but any other green would have done. So that's it. I hope that this puts a little fire under your butt and stops you from pulling the BS line, I'm going to call it that because it's BS, that healthy cooking takes too long, because it just doesn't. So that's it. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.